Where do they see this at?
So we are live on all of the Two Lost socials. So we're on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, and then I'm gonna make us live on Instagram as well. Um, so welcome to. Looks like we already have a few people that popped in. Welcome to another episode of Two Lost Office Hours. I'll give this man a proper introduction in just a second. Always wise words from this gentleman. But Ray, before we even get started, I typically ask my guests, what was your win or wins from the past week? What have you done in the past 7 days that you think it doesn't have to be big? It doesn't have to be like
My daughter turned 7 Friday.
There it is.
I wanted to do something cool for her, so I invited her and all her classmates to my office, and they recorded a song together. And all their parents was fire, and all the parents were excited. They all loved it. So it was just like, man, like it doesn't matter how great we are in our world if we're not great to our families. So, I did that with my daughter, and it was really exciting, man. She was so happy. So, yeah, that's something that I would say for sure.
Nah, that's amazing. That's a big win in my book. That's a huge win.
For sure. Thank you.
Obviously, you have many wins throughout your career. We'll talk about them. You got them in your background. You got plaques on plaques on plaques. But we'll wait maybe just another minute or so. Anything else you want to share outside of the family wins?
Nah, man. I just want to make sure that they know that you're a real one. I think that a lot of the times at these companies, you have people in power who don't care about the people. They care about the company. And you're a rare case of someone who represents the company perfectly, but you still make the people on the outside feel like you care, which you do, but that's important because somebody could care and not let the people know, but the people need to know that you are everything you say you are. I just needed to say that.
I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate, especially coming from you. So let's tap into this, man. You are a longtime music exec. You are the culture referee. We're going to talk about that. But just give people a little background for those that aren't familiar. Who is Ray Daniels and how long have you been in this game?
My name is Ray Daniels. I've been in the game for 19 years now. Came in 2005. And I'm just a guy that helps people become super versions of themselves. I didn't acknowledge that I was someone born with God-given talent, obviously, because I couldn't dunk a ball, I couldn't rap or sing. But I tapped into my God-given talent, which was being able to talk and motivate and coach people. So, for me, the best way to describe me is I take people and I make them super versions of themselves. That's what I do. I take people and I say, okay, you're being yourself and you're making $1. Let me show you how to be exact same version of yourself, but with some changes, and now you can make $1 million. So that's kind of probably how I would describe it. What I do for
Amazing. And what were some of those roles throughout this journey?
Well, the thing that I'm glad you asked that question. A lot of the times, people want to define what the role is. Like, bro, when Rock City was buying their house, the guys I managed, I signed all the paperwork. That's not my job description. Like, I signed the paperwork for their mom and dad to get the house and everything and handled everything. So for me, I guess the way I saw myself was like, I'm a facilitator. So every day I need to make sure I can facilitate something. Because obviously, when the check comes, you want to get paid. But I want to make sure that when they do pay me, nobody pays me and feel like, why does he deserve this? Nah, right. Everybody write me a check. I want them to be excited about because that's how I feed my family.
Right. And so, but were you always, so I know you don't want to necessarily fit into a particular role, but just, from the outside.
The best way I could describe it is that, here's the best way I could describe it. My whole life, I've had 2 siblings, a younger brother and a younger sister. All I did my whole life was protect them, make sure that they were taken care of, make sure that they had everything they needed when my mom was around, and also times when my mother wasn't around. All I did when I got a music business is apply the same things that I applied to my brother and sister to any artist that I worked with. I treated them like my little brother or my little sister, and I gave them patience and time and energy, and they all wound up becoming something. So that's how I would describe it. Like, a lot of us be trying to figure out the job when you're doing the job already. Like, I was already taking care of my brother and sister. This was easy for me. All I do was treat the artist like my little brother. And that's what I did. And we make some good money together, a lot of money together. So yeah, there it is. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. So obviously that the role is artist management, but coming up, were you an A&R? Were you?
Yeah. So that's and I'm okay. I'm glad you asked that to me. So the reason why I said what I said about taking people and being super was because as I was coming up, I didn't know I was going to be an A&R. Like that wasn't even a goal of mine, Damien. Like I was just trying to make sure I was great at the job. So for example, you're A&R, you manage songwriters and producers. They're hot. Of course, the chairman of the companies want to meet with you. Of course, they want to talk to you. They're like, damn, like Ray, your team is hot. So when I went in the room, I made sure that I didn't just play records. I made it an experience. Like, what kind of songs are you looking for? What do you want? Like, what have you done that didn't work? And it was helping me be better because now I'm asking curious questions about how someone did something. And I'll just say this, the first chairman I met in 2007 was Sylvia Rohn. And then 30 minutes after I left her office, I got a text from her saying, I want you to come work for me. I haven't met a CEO that didn't want to work with me in some capacity. But the reason why it's like that is because I honor my role in the character that I play. See, a lot of people have the character, but they don't want to play it. Like, it's like, I'm the boss. I don't want to be the boss. I'm the leader. I don't always want to lead. I'm the manager, but goddamn, why they can't? Dog, one of my OGs told me, he said, never, if you're a manager, never complain about your talent. And the reason why you never complain is because whatever it is that they can't do is why you're able to come in and do it for them and get paid 20%. So why are you mad at them? If they can do your job, then they don't need to pay you 20%. So that always stuck with me. Like, so I always make sure that I'm on my shit. My stuff is together. I'm handling my business. I always do that. That way, I don't know what Damon and Ray are going to speak about, but I do know that I'm committed to this shit so much that if you ask me about anything, I should have an answer. And if you ask me something that I don't have the answer for, if anything, I should be like, damn, I'm gonna figure that. I gotta think about that one. But I'm dedicated to the process of being the best version of me. Like I know there's a kid praying to meet me. Like I know there's a kid praying to meet you. There's kids watching this right now. Like, man, if I could just get in the room with Ray and or Dame, my life's gonna change. And to be honest with you, I had those prayers for so many people. And when I met them, they didn't make me feel like I remember meeting a certain mogul and I was like, this can't be the guy that I looked up to. I mean, like he didn't know shit. He didn't understand shit. He didn't know shit. So I decided that if somebody wants to meet me and they hit me, instead of being a dick to them or being an asshole, act like, oh yeah, of course you want to meet me. I said, you know what? When they do meet me, I want to make sure that I'm doing my part in God's kingdom. And I don't mean to bring God in it, but if you praying to meet me, then when you meet me, I should be able to give you something, some way, somehow, something that makes you better. Because that's what you're praying to meet me for. You want to better your life. And I just live up to that.
Yeah. One thing that I'm always impressed by is just, you always seem like you have a lot of positivity, right? You know, and there's always complaints in the music industry, complaining about streaming royalty rates, complaining about social media, just a lot of complaints. How are you feeling right now, just kind of given where we are in the industry?
How am I feeling about, I want to make sure I answer the question specifically. Like when you say that, like, do you mean like, how do I feel about the changes? How do I feel about the climate?
Yeah, just kind of where we are in the streaming era, you know, how songs are coming out, you know, the amount of songs that are coming out, like what are we feeling good about? What are we not feeling so good about?
Well, because I was here, but when there was a gatekeeper, I understand the power and the necessity of the gatekeeper, right? And mind you, most gatekeepers are suck. 80% of them suck. Those 20 that you run into, which I was trying to be one of, they are great. What I would say, how I see the streaming world is okay. So it's this serenity prayer, God's serenity prayer. Like it is basically what God is like, you know, grant me the serenity, grant me the wisdom to know the things I can't change, grant me the wisdom to know the things I cannot, but also grant me the wisdom to knowing the difference between those two. I'm positive because I have no other choice but to be positive, right? There's only other option is negative, and I don't even acknowledge negativity. That's the first thing I'll say. That's why I'm positive. But I'm also positive because we have no choice. And life's supposed to be better as we get older. And I might not like the way things are, but I love that I have the knowledge to help you change yourself, right? So there's over 36 million songs uploaded in 2024. Maybe 10,000 of those came from a major. The other 35,990,000 that are there. Those are people like you and I who are just trying to figure it out. And I love that I know how to help them figure that out. Like I have the answers on how to separate. How do you start a podcast then? Well, the podcast started because I told talent they should do what I'm doing right now. And I was like, it's easy. Just tell your story. Just be transparent. Well, Ray, I don't know what to talk about. Just sometimes you don't have to know what to talk about. Sometimes you can just say, my manager told me to get online and talk to y'all. I had nothing to talk about. What y'all doing? Oh, it's authentic. You really didn't want to be there. Now you might 3 minutes into it love being there. But you got to embrace the fact that it's there. And it's there for you to take advantage of. And if you take advantage of it, you will win. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, if you do turn the camera on, it's a good first step just to kind of start. But eventually you're going to have to find, what works, what doesn't work. I think you've done an amazing job with the God Show. What was kind of the idea, the process behind that, or what are you trying to accomplish in this kind of new era with you being a content creator, and probably need a manager yourself?
Well, I'm still a manager. I'm still a successful manager. I'm still doing everything right now to get it together. And I guess for me, I use it for two different things, right? So here's how I would say it, right? So if I'm a manager, my role is now to help the talent. But when I'm talent, my role is to help myself. So how I help myself when I'm talent is I do my best every day. Like I don't care what it is. You've had a million conversations with me. You've never talked to a different version of me. Am I right or wrong?
That is very right.
Passionate, caring, love to do this shit, human being. That's on purpose. That's because as long as I stay the same person, I don't have to worry about what I said or what the outcome is. Because I know I went into it being the same person, had a good heart, and who wanted to help people and help people be good. So I don't really get caught up in like saying the wrong things or doing the wrong things because I'm speaking from my heart. And I tell artists the same thing. Like, don't forget, they're probably young, but Prodigy had a statement where he said, no matter how much money I get, I'm staying in the projects. That was the first time I ever heard my deep rap. And I remember thinking, that got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. No matter how much money I get, I'm staying in the projects. But I had to understand who said it. He was probably in the projects and couldn't see what life would be out away from it. I guarantee if you talk to him right now, he's passed away, but when he was alive, he felt differently. You see what I'm saying? Like I tap into people and I understand like as long as you're being honest and you're telling your truth, you have nothing to worry about. Yeah. Most of us problem is that we want to tell you what we want you to hear because we worried about what you're thinking. You can't worry about how the audience digests you. You just have to give the audience the real version of you, and they'll come to and they'll line up the same way. You don't go to McDonald's and worry about the nutrition facts. Like it's like I'm eating McDonald's. I know what this is. You know what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with an artist, as an artist, you just got to go out there and just figure out what it is that they want from you and give that to them. Really simple. You just got to not be afraid to do it.
Yeah. So that the genuineness and the authenticity probably is an answer to one of my next questions, just in terms of what are some of the qualities that has allowed you to be successful for so many years when you've probably seen a billion people come and go and not find even a sprinkle of the success.
A billion people going out. So you mean the people or like, how do I feel about seeing that? Because I'm glad.
No, not how you feel about seeing that. Like, what are some of the qualities that allow you to have success over a long period of time?
Okay, I'm glad. I'm okay. That's the question. It's the reverse of what I thought you were saying. This is great. The one thing that people who win don't stop doing is they don't stop working. Whatever they did to pay attention. I remember I went in the room with a huge producer who I'm not gonna say his name because he's still a friend of mine. And I remember just watching this guy, Dame, like, man, like how did he become him? I'm watching him. And all he would do is sit on World Star Hip Hop all day and watch what black people were doing and be like, I'm gonna do that and make it cool in the production side. So when you start understanding that, like the way it works, dog. The one thing that everybody successful that I know does is they pay attention to everything. Dame, do you miss details?
I'm pretty detail oriented myself.
But anybody who wins, who continuously wins, pays attention to details. everybody. And to me, that's what I do. I pay attention to details, which means I listen way more than I talk. And if I talk, I'm asking questions that help me better listen. You feel me?
Yeah.
So like I'm just like, and then you see other people who don't pay no attention to what's going on around them, who don't acknowledge the change around them, who's just like, oh, who cares? You always see them get left behind. There is a change happening right now in the music business. There's a change happening right before our eyes. I think the gold rush has ended. I think from 2020 to now, I think it's been, if you looked at it, it's been declining and declining and declining and declining. The money is going up, but the amount of money that more the artists are making at the bottom is getting lower and lower and lower. Because there's just no money out here. You feel me? So, I'm paying attention to the changes. I'm like, okay, cool. What's next? How's it working? I see an artist working. What do they have that I don't have? How many people on here are really paying attention to what's happening around them? Like, think about that. How many people are really paying attention to the changes happening around them? Like, oh, that's a change. Oh, damn, playlisting is not as prominent anymore.
Yeah.
Shit, what's next? Oh, TikTok is being banned. What's next? Like, constantly head on the swivel, looking around. What's happening?
Yeah.
It's tiring, but it's necessary.
So for you, how are you positioning your chess pieces for the next year or so? Like, what do you think is going to be important for you and your business and the artists that you work with?
Well, I think the most important thing is going forward that every artist should be focusing on is kind of what you and I are doing right now, which is building a community, right? Whether there's 3 people in here or 3 million people in here, you and I are still not going to lower our level of conversation because there's only 3 people in here. We are committed to what we are here to do. And that's what I would say to anybody who's on the come up, who's trying to figure it out. Like, bro, get out your feelings, pay attention, and watch everything. Now, that doesn't mean emulate. Don't watch what they're doing. Watch what they did. Watch what they're doing might take a lot of effort. But look at it like this. You and I, 2 businessmen who trying to figure out how to elevate our businesses, right? I don't know everything you got going on. You don't know everything I got going on. But here's the ironic part. When you and I get on the phone, we always on the same page, right? Because we want the same thing. We're saying, how can we amplify what we're doing? If I'm an artist paying attention right now, all I'm asking myself is, how can I amplify what I'm doing? How can I make what I'm doing feel bigger and louder? And the more, and that means do it, then tell a story. Talent's problem is that they want to say, they don't even want to do it. They want Ray or Dame to say, and coming, we have Sad Boy Prolific. That's the last person to comment, right? Now we're saying, Sad Boy Prolific. Now, and he's like, yeah, you didn't hear what Dame and Ray said about me. They said I'm the next one. That will only matter to him if he didn't believe it himself. If you believe it yourself, then I don't need to say Dame. I'm the next one. I know it. Matter of fact, I don't even believe it. I know it. And I move like I know it. And you can see that. Just because I said something today don't mean I'm wrong today. Don't mean I'm going to be wrong tomorrow. I might be right tomorrow. Today I might be wrong. But that's the whole point of us. Visionary. That means you see what others can't see. And what's happening right now is that you have millions of artists coming into the music business who felt like, shit, all I got to do is put up a song, put on TikTok and go viral. And we've seen some of them hit the lottery. We've seen some not, right? We've seen some win, we've seen some lose. It's just that simple. But what we should be paying attention to is what the ones that won did. Rather than what they're doing, because you're doing something. But if they get if you see the ding, ding, ding more on them, then you're like, oh, damn, I know what I got to do to hit that bell faster. It's that simple. Pay attention to what the winners are doing.
Yeah. So a lot of artists, when they hear you speak, they want to work with you. Like, where are you at in terms of working with new artists? How do new artists come across your radar? Is it even possible at this point?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna for everybody who's in there, I don't know how many people can see the link, but I'm gonna put the link to my community in here. I'm gonna put the link to my community in here because I want everyone to see. Oh, I'm like, hold on one second. So I want everyone to see where everything is. But what I do is, you see my people saying join the God Squad. What I do is I'm sorry, I got the mic. I'm gonna type it. What I do is I coach people from inside my community because I got tired of people wasting my time. And it's kind of like in why the community, why all of that other stuff. I get it, why people say that. But I will say this: the reason why I would say the community, I'm trying to connect my YouTube so I can put a link because I can't chat, but I'm just connecting my YouTube so I can tell people what I think. But yeah,
if you put it in the private chat here, I'll copy it and I'll put it in.
Okay, shit, I already let him in, so I can comment now. Hold on. All right, cool. So that's not it. My bad. But yeah, for me, I'm not really looking for talent, and the reason why I'm not looking is because it's really hard. Like, and you know this, like it's not just investing in talent. It's so much more to it. So I just put it. I said it posted. I'm gonna just send it to you in the private channel. I'm sorry.
Good.
Where's the private chat at? I don't even see it. Okay, there you go. Perfect. All right, cool. I'm gonna send it to you right now. All right, you got it now. But yeah, I help people from my community. Sorry, I was spaced out while I was doing that because I wanted to make sure I got it. But I help people from my community because it's like a rental car. When you drive a rental car, Dave, you drive a rental car way different than you drive your own car, right? When you're paying $1,300 a month for your car, you like, hey man, don't fuck my stuff up. But if it's a rental car, you hit the speed bumps a little faster.
Yep.
Hit the speed bumps harder. It's a rental car. They feel like that because it's not their responsibility. So there is a paywall behind it because I wanted you to, if you're paying, I want you to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Right? It's only $97 a month, but I have two people in there who I'm in the middle of putting deals together for now. But it's more than just that. It's about helping people see themselves. Like, when I was a kid, man, and I'm going to just tell you this little private story about me. When I was a kid, my mother trained me to be a victim. My mother trained me to be a professional victim. Like when I knew when the people was coming over here, or she was taking me to see Child Protective Services, I knew how I had to act. Right? When she was putting us on welfare, you knew how you had to act. So, and she just trained me, bro, to be like feel sorry for myself. So I remember when I was 16, my mother was telling me she gonna buy me a car, and she was like my income tax check. And bro, we waited for that motherfucker for 6 strong weeks. Like, ooh, when it's coming. And it finally came. And when it came, my mother, I know that she opened it up, and it was a letter from the government. The check was zero. They took the check from her. And I remember thinking, I'm never gonna let myself and my hopes be up on another person. Like, dang, that shit, like, it's so embedded in me. So I hate when I see people acting like they need other people. You don't need nobody. It's in you already. Just go fucking do it. And to me, that is kind of why I act the way I act and I move how I move. Because I'm like, bro, I don't want no excuses for why this didn't work. I don't want no say it would have worked if you did that, or it would have worked if you just do that. It would have worked if you just would have frowned the camera so they could feel sorry for you. Now, fuck that. I just never was going for it. And I started doing everything my way, and I'm happy with the outcome, and I'm making more money, and I'm happier now. So I see so many people on Instagram and on TikTok that are like, or just in life that are like frustrated, that are like sad, that are like hurting about like the world and like why is it like this and why is it not like that? And I'm here to tell you that all of that is because of you. Dog, I know it's hard to wake up and smile when shit is hard, bro, but what other option do we have? I know it's hard to wake up and be positive, but what other option do we have? Plus, if you commit to that personality trait, people are counting on you for it. Now people are like, I want to go to Ray because he's positive. You know, some days I don't feel positive. Some days I feel like quitting. I still come with that positive energy because what other options do I have? And that's all I want people to understand. You're not in the position you're not in. It's not because of Ray. It's not because of Dame. It's not because of the world. It's because of your viewpoint on the world. It's when you see the world that has you held back. So here I am. Here Dame is trying to help you change your mindset. So when it does pop up, you're not lost anymore. Now you're like, ooh, they taught me that. And now you're sharp. So all I'm really trying to do is help people be sharp, sharpen themselves. Now iron sharpens iron, and that's all I'm here to do. Period.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't put the mic a little closer, we heard you, but it's still a little.
Oh, yeah, I got you. My bad. It's better now. I put it out the way. That's my fault.
Nah, but that's one of the dope things about today is you have so much access to information. I remember, when we started our label back in 2008, I was coming from outside the music industry. I had one partner that was doing music independently, and I leaned on him for quite a few things. But there definitely wasn't a dreamers community. There wasn't a Two Lost Office Hours. There wasn't a music entrepreneur club. There wasn't a No Labels Necessary. The information is there. There's no excuse anymore for not having the information. Like the information you can get.
And go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What can people expect inside the dreamers community?
Well, I mean, you can see I got people in here right now that's talking in the dreamers community. I mean, we do this, but instead of you interviewing me, it's me and them talking every day. Like I do at least 2 hours a week with them. Like Monday morning, 10:30 in the morning, and I do Wednesday morning, 10:30 in the morning. But I do so much more. And all I'm really trying to do is change the mindsets. Change your mindset, you change your life. Change your mindset, you change your life. All I'm doing in the dreamers community is changing mindsets. So I'm allowing them to talk to me. And when they talk, I'm like, see, look what you just said. You heard yourself. Now it's like, it's kind of like one of the things where it's like, when you go into music business, I mean, of course you can have your TikTok moniker be this different moniker than your YouTube, then a different moniker than your Instagram. Of course you are, but when you work at a label, they want all of it to be the same, right? Because it just makes it a little easier to find you. Yeah. And what people that are watching this have to understand is that you have to make it easier to want to work with you. How do you make it easier to want to work with you? You change your mindset towards the work. Don't think people are not watching. We are watching. We want to work. I don't think Dame or myself want to work with an artist that ain't great. It's just you realize the gate of entry is so low, that the bar is so low, that you realize you're talking to talent that need to go at least 2 or 3 years on a journey of figuring out who they are before they can get up to the big games. That's what we are. Yeah.
If you had to, what were some of the mistakes that you've made, right? Like, were there any big ones that just like, damn, I wish I had done that one a little differently?
You know what? I posted a video that me and Wiz say, and it wasn't welcome. Where I said white people love niggas, and I don't think we took it out of context, but I knew what I was talking about, and he knew what I was talking about. What I was saying was that when I used to go in the room, because I was from the ghetto, I was very insecure about how I spoke. I was insecure about my thoughts. I thought I got to learn something before I speak because these people know more than me. They're smarter than me. They're well spoken. Here's the funny part, the ironic part about the whole thing. The ironic part about the whole thing is that the reason why I'm at the table is because of who I am. So why am I talking to them to make them comfortable? They not taking you home to hang with their kids. They understand it's business, but they want to bet their money on the people who get it. They know it's business. They just want to know that you get it. And that's what, so when I said white people love niggas, it was my way of saying, like, be yourself. They're not expecting you to come, like, Baby don't go in a room and say, talk different on the internet to go in a room with Monty and be like, hey, Monty, I'm Baby. He talks like the same person because Monty understands I need Baby to talk to that audience and bring them people to me. So that was one of the biggest things I had to learn. It's okay to be yourself, because if they are trying to market music to people like you, then which they are, then why the fuck can't you just be yourself in it? And that's the law I had to learn. Black work, being yourself works. You don't always have to shake hands the way they shake hands or talk the way they talk to make them comfortable. Sometimes you can be like, "What's up, bro?" And they like that because they want you to be yourself, because they're not bringing you in there to be like them. If that was the case, they wouldn't want you in the room. They want you in there because you have a unique thought process, because you have a unique perspective on how life works and what's winning. So that's probably one of the biggest mistakes I made. I would try to be what the room, hey, how y'all guys doing? And I'm like, nigga, I should have just been a nigga. What's up? What the fuck is up? Because they see that they don't want that. It's like You don't go into a school to teach kids and expect them to act like adults.
Right.
That's why you're there with them.
Yeah, I could definitely see how they needed that context, though, from what was originally said. You definitely need to provide the context for that one.
No. And by the way, I see that's another thing. When I put it out, I know what it is, but when I see people, I'm like, I left room for them to receive it the way they wanted to receive it.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And what I'm telling you is, don't leave room. But sometimes I do that because sometimes it's first of all, it's just a clip that I got. But I also feel like if it's a winner's conversation and you want to win, then regardless of what we say, you should be trying to learn from it.
Yeah.
Y'all, the one lesson that L.A. Reid taught me, he taught me 100. But the one lesson he taught me, Dane, that threw me off. Mind you, this is somebody who I look up to, who I admire more than most people in the world. This man says, you're not winning because you're not willing to cheat. What? What the fuck? I'm like, Lord, what do you mean I don't want to cheat? Like, I thought you're not supposed to cheat. He was like, we cheated. He said, Babyface and I would cheat if we had to. And then he plays me a record, which I'm not going to play. And he says, what song is that? And I called the song out. And he's like, nope, that's not that. That's this. But we took that 3 seconds and turned it into that. And that was one of the biggest songs that we had on our label. Damn, I never thought about that. When I got in the room with the big producer, what was he doing? Watching World Star Hip Hop. World Star Hip Hop at the time was what all black people were. Dog, I started realizing black is power. Black is influence. Black is fucking the coolest shit on the earth. So why the fuck am I trying to be anything but black? I became more black and they loved me more. And I wasn't an angry black man. I remember I walked in the room and a lot of people were talking about, it was like, you know, you walk in the room and everybody break out laughing. They stop laughing when they see you. Like, I'm like, what the fuck I was laughing at? Nothing. I'm like, it's all good. What? Then the guy goes, because the only person at the table knew me was this guy. The other people didn't know me. They knew who I was, but they didn't know that they could talk to me about it. So they was like, hey, Ray, can I ask you a question? Of course. Do you know any Nipsey Hussle records? I'm like, yeah, I know a couple. And then they kind of like smirked a little. And I was like, why? I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, what's that? They was like, I knew where they was going, but I just wanted them to say it out loud. And, you know, they was like, you know, I remember they said, Tom Petty. Do you know who Tom Petty is? Of course, you're trying to see how much does this man know. Of course I know Tom Petty. He sings the song Free Falling. Yes, you know Tom Petty. Good. Tom Petty died last year. And I'm like, oh, okay. Did you know that? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. He died from cancer. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, nobody was outside with protesting or with a board saying rest in peace, Tom Petty. And we just can't understand why everybody is celebrating Nipsey Hussle when none of us know his music. Here's a great opportunity to educate. I said, okay, so let me tell you something about what it's like to be a black man in America. When you're a black man in America, you're from poor America, you grow up with nothing, right? And you start realizing, and you're told that in order to win, you got to do certain things. Those things usually go against your community, right? Which means usually most niggas get money and they leave their community, right? Like Nipsey didn't leave his community. He stayed in it. Not only did he stay in it, he employed people in his community. Not only did he employ people, he put a store there. He did everything. And he taught us that you got to just stay in a marathon. And I said he did everything right. He had one woman. He celebrated her. He fucking had his crew. He was down with them. He did everything. And he still died. Black people understand how much that set us back. Because there are going to be other young black kids who are going to come up from them same ghettos that are going to be like, I'm not going back. What happened to Nipsey? And that's why his death hurt us so much. And then they was like, damn, Ray, thank you for educating us. We didn't know that. But I could have easily been like, racist. They're not racist. They just don't understand. And the reality is that how are they supposed to understand? They need us around. So when I realized stuff like that, I was like, man, there's really power in being a black man in America. And that's how I move. Yeah. And that's really the truth.
So now with the podcast being called the Culture Referee, you know, I think it's
my name was the Culture Referee, the God Show.
So I mean, I love the branding. I love the show. Obviously, I was fortunate enough to be a guest on the show, but tell folks or kind of how you're thinking about that, because it's starting to catch more momentum. I'm seeing more clips on other people's pages, so the voice is getting out there. But what is the strategy or the mindset behind it?
Well, my thought process was, so I knew I wanted to do a podcast, but I was like, it goes back to the first thing I tell everybody in my community. If you don't package it right, it's nothing, right? So I was like, I wanted the podcast to represent mindset. Like, because to me, once you change your mindset, you change your life. So I was like, man, I'm gonna do this podcast to really help people see the difference in mindset. So I was playing around with all these names. Some names I'm still gonna use for something. But I remember I remember I was on the phone with one of my homegirls, and she was like, some dudes out here are goats and some dudes out here are underdogs. And she was like, sometimes, it just depends on how they see themselves. And I'm like, damn, goats and underdogs. That says God. So I'm like, oh shit, I got the show. I'm gonna call it Combos with the Gods. Combos with the with the goats, and combos with the underdogs. That was my plan. But then I was like, fuck, if I call it Combos with the Gods, then that means I always need someone on the set to talk to. And I don't know if people are gonna show up for me, because support is the most unfair thing we ask for. That is the most unnecessary thing that we need. We always beg for it, but we don't need it, right? So I was like, my peers might not even support me because they don't know they should. Let me just do it. So I called it the God Show. And that was what I was, the Goats and Underdog Show. And then the culture referee comes from, I was sitting at the table with Atlanta's former mayor, Kasim Reed, and we were arguing about Kanye at the time. And I was like, I'm telling you, we was arguing about who was the most powerful black man in America. Was it Jay-Z or Barack Obama? We was going back. He was like, it's Barack Obama. And I was like, I think it's Jay-Z. And we was just arguing. And then I started going, and he was like, man, you're like the culture referee. Like, that's what you are. You you just referee culture. You just have a stance on everything. And I was like, damn, that's it. So that's why the culture referee comes from, which I'm leaning into more. That's why when I knew I was doing this interview, I could have easily said CEO of Radar, CEO of this or this. But I'm like, nah, I got a brand. I got to drill down what I am, the culture referee. So now when something happens in the culture, they like, what does Ray think? Let's see what he stands on it. So that's what I'm pushing. So yeah, there it is.
Nah, I love the way you branded it, the show. The name makes a lot of sense. For the people that are watching, if you do have a question for Ray, you can just type it in the comments. So whether you're on Twitter or YouTube or Twitch, feel free to just type your question in the comments, and it should flow through. I should be able to see it. I can put it on screen, and he can answer your question. Let's see. Somebody has a question. It's just a 2-loss question, though. Let me see. Let me just answer this real quick. If I sign up for 2-loss distribution while already using ASCAP, do I have to go through 2-loss? 2-loss is not a performance rights organization. You can do your pub admin via 2-loss through our partnership with BMG. So there's probably some confusion in your question. We are not a PRO. You would still be a member of ASCAP. But that doesn't have anything to do with Ray. So let's keep our questions focused.
But it's important for people to understand there are only 3 PROs in the world, in America, should I say: ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. When you guys ask questions that you can ask Google, you kind of waste time with the people who really want to come up. But I understand, but that's not the case. It's not a PRO, it's a distributor. They all work together.
Yeah. Do you have a book? Somebody asked, what is the name of your book? Do you have a book?
I wrote a book called The Artist Agreements. I'm looking to get it published. I got a publisher who's really interested right now, big publisher. But the book is written and complete, and it's so good. It's so good. I think it's gonna be like the outside of my kids, one of the greatest things I've ever created in my life. Honestly, it's like really that good.
Dope. Now, I've always wanted to. I was actually writing a book at the time that Funk Volume crashed. And obviously that book was going to be kind of like using Funk Volume as an example, but when it crashed, obviously I could no longer use it as kind of an example. But I think it would be dope for somebody to write a book that, as artists are progressing through their career, like, what should their expectations be, right? So if you're at this level, like, this is kind of what you should expect, because I think there's always like misexpectations, as you know, they think they deserve more than that an artist typically gets at that level. They always think that they're further ahead than they really are, and that hurts them from getting to the actual next step.
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that. I always say that we're all on the yellow brick road of life, trying to find the Wizard of Oz, right? I always refer to the Wizard of Oz, and I'm gonna do it now. So the Wizard of Oz is really about God. That's what it's really about, right? So you have these people, 4 people, who are all on a yellow brick road looking for the Wiz to give them something that it took them to have inside of them in the first place to even find the Wiz. It's a mind fuck, right? So it's like, you're like, I'm gonna get to the Wiz because I want him to give me courage. And then when you get to the Wiz is like, he can say, here's courage now. You know why? He's smart enough to know that it took courage for you to get to him.
Right.
He's smart. If you need a brain, he's smart enough to know you needed a brain to get to him. So he can say, here's your brain. My nigga, it was in you the whole time. You just didn't know it was in you because you was looking for something else outside of you. That's all. So my message to everybody that's trying to figure out is that everything that you want to do is on the other side of you acknowledging that you have it already. So my book is, imagine my book. I am the wizard, if you will. I'm the wizard that they're looking for. My book is saying to them, hey, I know you can't find me or see me far ahead, but you're gonna run into this guy right here. Let me tell you what you need to make sure you do when you get there. When you run into there, you make sure you do to get there. The reason why I think my book is so impactful is because it's a book that a 15-year-old kid that wants to be in the music business will read, but it's also a book that this Tunji, who's the CEO of Def Jam, would say, Ray, give me 40 for all my artists. Because the way I write it, I don't write it down at a level. I don't write down. I write from here, but I talk to you down here. So I'm like, don't just show your value. I mean, don't just know your value, show your value. What's on the Zoom? Don't know your value, show your value, right? So I say, here's an example, right? I talk about an artist that I wanted to sign that was buzzing. He goes in the room, and this is a lesson I learned, Dame. This is fucking 11 years ago, 2013. I'm trying to sign an artist. I bring it in like 2014. I'm lying. It was 2014. I'm trying to sign an artist who's famous right now, but he didn't become big. And the reason why he didn't become big, and I'll tell you offline who it is, because then it'll make sense. Like, oh, I know his music, but for some reason he's not as big. The reason why he's not as big is because he didn't understand that he has to do the work. So I bring him into LA's office. By the way, this is a great lesson. I'm giving it to y'all for free. I brought him in LA's office, and LA whispers to me, fuck my head up, Dave. He whispers to me, which one of them is the artist? 3 niggas in the room. I know all 3. The 2 managers are my boy. I know the artist. That's my boy. But he didn't know who the artist was. So I'm like, then it was like, oh, that's why. Because he didn't perform. So I tell artists, it's not about knowing your worth. It's about showing your worth. So if you know you're good at singing, you fucking sing all day. If you're good at performing, you perform all day. And you got to be good at those things to last over 10 years. So why not work on it now? So here's a rule. Know your worth. Don't show your worth. Don't just know it. Right? So now I'm breaking it down to you, and I break down how it changed my life. Now I'm like, here's an example of how it didn't work. Right? And why it didn't work. With a successful artist. Now here's how it did work. I'm managing these 2 guys. I don't know what to expect out of them. I just like them. They were just good talent. You know how this shit is. Some people you with, some people you just like, man, I gotta help this kind of person because he's such a good person. Right? I was helping these guys because I thought they was talented. And then they was like, yo, I heard you I had like my Jaren. It was like, yo, I heard you got a performance tonight. Slow performed that night too. Recipe Slow. He performed that night too. But we had a night where they performed. And by the way, Dame, I went into the whole thing thinking like, man, Rock City, I got to tell you, I'm going to have to give these niggas a speech, make sure they understand it's okay that the people booed them, because I just knew they was going to get booed. Man, these niggas got on the mic, man, changed my entire life. Damn, it changed my life so much that I went to their house the next morning. 7 o'clock. I couldn't sleep. We got home at 4 a.m. Went to the house the next morning, 7 a.m. I'm looking at them. I'm like, they're like, what's wrong? They looking at me like, what's wrong, Ray? What happened? Because I woke them up like, wake up, I need to talk to y'all right now. And I was like, Why didn't you tell me I could perform that good? He's like, no, we've been winning talent shows since we was 10. I'm like, we gonna be rich. And guess what? We were, and we did. But imagine if they went in there and said, this ain't our crowd anyway, so let's just do enough to get through this shit. Nah, they performed in front of that crowd like it was there, like they've been knowing them for 20 years. And they won everybody over, but the most important person they won over was me.
Yeah.
At that moment, I'm like, I'm about to take y'all niggas to the top. And like I said, that was 2006. We talking about 18 years later, you talking about millions, probably 50, 60 million made. If like deals, like nigga, that comes from, that would have never happened if they didn't perform that night. So my book kind of gives you like the, hey, I know you think you need to be ready for all these things at certain points, but here's all of the things here are all of the habits that you have to practice for you to win in the music business. And if you are an artist that just got signed, you're still going to win with this, because the way I brought it down, that's what makes it unique. It's not like Donald Passman's book where you're like, I don't need that shit no more. Like, all you really need is a lawyer. You don't need his book. You just really need a lawyer. My book, I'm helping you develop yourself, or helping you develop whoever you're trying to develop, because now you got the facts on what needs to be done. So it's incredible. It's called the Artist Agreements.
What's the timeline for it? Because maybe that's what we need to take on the road.
Well, that's something that's in my brain. But so it goes back to, I'm doing what I want an artist to do. Right? It's what you want an artist to do. You don't want an artist that says, I need studio time, right? You don't want an artist that says, I need a songwriter, I need a producer. Hey man, you need a lot, man. What do you want me to do? You want an artist. So that's what I did. I never wrote a book before. So instead of trying to get a publisher to say, here's a writer, I paid $15,000 to a ghostwriter to write it with me. I didn't know, Dame, that I was going to write 95% of the words. I thought I was going to talk to her and she was going to write it. Problem is that she wrote it very professionally. I wanted it to be written the way I talk. So when you read the book, it reads the way I'm talking right now. That's what makes it so easy. So now it's not like, you're like, what did he say? It's like, hey, so I'll give you an example. I'm like, the first agreement is accept that you are a product. First agreement. You got to accept you are a product. How many artists have you and I met that it's like, I'm just a man. I'm just saying, like, it's like, no, you're not. You are no different than Clorox bleach. Yeah. You are no different than any, you are a product. Am I right, Dame? Am I right? Right. You are a product. That's the first agreement. You are a product accepted. And then I break down what I mean by that. So I say, we all know Beyonce is probably not Sasha Fierce all day. We know that she has weak moments, but that's not her brand. Her brand is not a weak bitch. Her brand has always been from strength. Even when she caught you cheating, you must not know about me. Yeah. I can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. That's who we think she is, but she probably is crying for Hove. I don't want to do this. But that's not her product. You got to separate the product from the person. Here's another example I use in the book. This is actually funny. Kirk Franklin, he doesn't sing about sex, but he's fucking. Why is he not saying, I should be talking about sex? I'm fucking. That's not the brand you built, bro. Yeah. The brand you built, you're talking about God. So even though we know you fucking because you got 6 kids, you can't talk about fucking over here in this arena because that's not what your product is. Accept that you are a product. Yeah. Now let's go into the book. So that's how I wrote it. But like, I'm really excited about it because my writer who wrote the book with me literally said to me, she was like, Ray, I've written 70, 80 books in my life. And this is the only, and she's like, I've written fiction books. No, she's a writer. That's what she gets paid to do. You pay me, I help you write your book, or I write it for you. And she was like, no book I've ever written has made me be better. Like this book has helped me look at myself. So that's why I'm so excited about it.
I'm looking forward to checking it out myself. Let's get through a few more of these questions before we wrap up. This one will probably be easy. How do you schedule a consultation with Ray? I would imagine you just joined the Dreamers community.
You can schedule a consultation with me. It's a link in my bio, my Calendly link. But it's $500 for 30 minutes. I don't mind doing it. If somebody wants to do it, we can do it all day. But I suggest to everyone to join the Dreamers community. And the reason why is, and if you could just put it in the chat one more time, just because while I'm talking about it, the reason why is because what I'm doing with Dame, I do that with everyone in the community. There are actually some people in here. I see Terry, you see the Universe Soul, King, Cat is in here 2.0. Like, these are people who are like, who I talk to twice a week. They send me their music. I give them all critiques. I give them all direction. I give them marketing plans. I've connected dots. So in my mind is like, you can pay $500 for 30 minutes, but why when you could pay basically $100 a month and you have access to me 8 times a month, and I do one-on-ones. And the reason why I'm doing it that way is because, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, but and you get to build with other people, your peers, right?
Boom.
You get to
And that is what I'm trying to say. I have marketing people in there, I have managers in there, and I'm like, yo, I want y'all to start helping each other. That's what a community is. So to me, I just wanted to, what I think the future is community, and I wanted to build one. Like how we're building the Two Lost community right now, how I'm a part of the Two Lost community, how we're saying, why don't we bring the Two Lost community and the God Show community together and find an activation to do? Like, that's us just tapping in to each other's community. Everybody in here is a community leader, whether you believe it or not. It used to be called fans. The reason why it's hard to call fans is because fans needs to be engaged. Like, I'm a Michael Jackson fan, but I ain't never met him, right? And I also came from an era where I knew what enough to know to be a fan. Nowadays, there are too many routes to become fans. So if there's too many routes to become fans, why wouldn't you fucking look at it like, and not fans? They're in my community. That means they buy my products. They bought into me, and they bought into whatever I say is that, because they're in my community. So the community is something I'm really excited about. I got my Cat in here. Cat is the person that manages it for me. And bro, all I'm trying to do is change lives. And I'm also not trying to, like, I'll put it like this. Where I'm at right now in my career, if you took me back to 2006 when I was starting, I would be honest with you and tell you that I wish that I knew the things that I'm speaking about. I wish that I understood these things, because if I did, I'd be way richer. Because it's like, it's not hard. You just gotta get in the community, bro. You gotta just get out there. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change lives. And then you can ask my community members. They get here. I'm transparent with them. I don't even promote it yet. Whoever's in there, that means they went to my Instagram, went to my bio and said, what is this? Signed up. Yeah. And the reason why I appreciate that so much is because now I'm like, let me focus on the 30 people in here. Yeah, I can go try to get 300, but I'm still building it. Why wouldn't I use you guys as the first guys to say, let's do this together? And that's kind of what we're doing. So I do it twice a week. I'm gonna have Tehran, the songwriter of the year at the Grammys, who I manage. He's gonna he's gonna be in the community Wednesday at 10:30. Man, we be getting busy in there, man. It's like I feel like I'm the label, and they all my students. Like, it's different. So I would tell anybody in here, if you can, you see them commenting in there. You see the people. You see Universal. You see Cat. They comment like I didn't tell them to get on this with me, Dane. Yeah. They told me you go with the Two Lost, don't you? I'm like, damn, y'all know about that? We'll see you. We are community, support each other. That's how it works.
Now I'm gonna have to tap in myself, because the one that you had that was open, just the energy is just positive. If nothing else, after talking with Ray, you're gonna feel like you can run through a wall. Like, you're gonna be excited. You're gonna have ideas, new business ideas, new approaches to things. I think that's just, that energy is infectious. And if that's the thing that you get from this community the most, it's extremely valuable.
But I'm glad you said that, because I don't even think about that part. But take it further. If you have a dream right now, which everybody who watching, I assume have a dream. If you have a dream right now, the hardest part about chasing your dream, I can tell you, because I'm still dealing with it, is bringing people along that don't have the vision or the discipline to do it. That's the hardest part of chasing your dream. It's, my mama don't believe, my daddy don't believe, my cousins don't believe, my friends don't believe. Well, here's an opportunity to be around people who believe and think just like you, and we talk all the time. If you want to be in the business, but if you want to be by yourself, and I look at it like this, how much shit that's $100 for a shirt, or for some jeans, or some sneakers. Them shits ain't gonna take you nowhere. Ain't gonna change your mindset like this shit is. I'm changing lives and minds in here in ways that's so unique. And that's why that's what I'm so proud about, is that, like, damn, I got people in here that really are like, let's go.
Yeah. Because you could be on Twitter and you could just hear people being negative all day. You could be like, oh man, Spotify's not paying anything. Oh, there's too many songs being released. Nobody believes in my music. And you start to feed into that. You start to feed into the negativity, get discouraged. You have the option to put yourself in a whole different place. You can curate your timeline differently and follow different people, or you can join a community where people are more positive and breathing, possibilities into you.
And that is why I'm so positive. Because unlike how when it was when I was a kid, where you didn't have no phones, all we had was the people in our hood. And if you wanted a dream, you had to get off your ass, go find a community, go find people who don't care about you, who don't want to work with you. You have to do that. Now, think about it now. Now, 2024. Let's say you don't know me. You don't know anything. Dog, I follow so many different pages that have interest in things that I didn't even know that I was interested in. Like, when people say life ain't fair. Life ain't fair. It's a human thing that we always say, right? I follow these animal pages now. Now you'll see a tiger with a baby fucking monkey's head in his mouth while the baby's monkey, and you see the mama crying. And then, but it reminds me, life ain't fair, because as much as that animal is cute and I feel bad for it, that happens whether the cameras are there or not. It's gonna happen. So I say use Instagram to attract what you want. Stop following the big booty pages. Stop following the people that are telling you what they doing with their money. Stop following them. Follow the people that's telling you how to make money.
Yeah.
Follow the people that's telling you what to do with wealth. Like, dog, I learned so much information from Instagram and TikTok, bro. Like, I learned everything from there. I learned more from that than anything. So that's the case. Then it's like, nigga, it's right there. Just go get it. It's right there. It's literally right there. You don't even have, how about this, Dave? You don't even have to leave your house. You don't have to leave your city. You don't have to leave nothing to become a part of the music business, because it's communities that I have, communities that Zoe has, it's communities that Two Lost has, where you like, dog, we have a chief marketing, is a chief product officer of marketing.
I'm our director of communications.
Okay, director of communications. We have a director of communications on the phone trying to help you guys with information. Think about that for a second. Dang, now when you and I was coming up, was director of communication at Def Jam and any of these labels outside trying to hold court to tell you how to get in them doors?
Hell no.
They wanted you out. They wanted your mama out. They wanted y'all gone. You have that opportunity now. And you mean to tell me you still sitting around waiting? Man, you crazy as hell. I would be in Ray's community. I'll be in Two Lost community. I'll be what? And I will make sure that I comment every day. They will see my name. Be like, damn, this guy always speaks. I will make sure that they see me.
Yeah. Well, Ray, man, we already a few minutes past the hour. I appreciate you joining. Where are you most on Instagram, or where can people find you?
Well, I'm most on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all of TikTok, all those things. But I'm on Instagram. I would say definitely is a good place to follow. If you're watching and you're unsure if you want to join the community, go to my Instagram and join my broadcast channel on my bio at Ray Daniels. Join my broadcast channel. Just join it. I mean, I tell them I'm going to let people from the broadcast channel listen in on Wednesday's talk. I'm going to let them listen in on Wednesday's talk, because I know what music did for my family, and I see what it did for yours. And bro, I wanted to do the same thing for my kids and everybody around the world who just got a family that they like. I got this talent. I want to do it. I want to help everybody win. You got to come to my community to show me that you're serious about it, because you DM me on Instagram, that didn't take no effort. You can send me and 100 other people the same message. I know you're not joining the community and 100 other communities. I know you're not. So here's the opportunity. Let's go.
There it is. Well, we're going to figure out some type of live event this year.
I'm about to have a meeting with my team to go over what you and I spoke about. I want to say to everybody in here, me and Dame and Two Lost and the God Show, we're about to take this shit on the road in a way that's going to be so fun, so interactive, so informative and only people that's going to be able to ask questions or be on there are people that are on my community or people that are using Two Lost. It's going to be open to everybody else, but if you're in those things, we're going to let you in. Everybody else got to pay $20 or whatever the tickets to get in. So you got choices here, guys. Come on.
More info on that coming soon. I'm looking forward to building that out. All right, y'all. This has been another great episode of Two Lost Office Hours. Ray, thank you very much, man. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Until next Monday, y'all. We'll be back 12 p.m. Pacific every Monday. See y'all soon.
All right.
Peace.